takes a really big number, a really small number, makes it base 10. So it's C is the first number. It has to be between 1 and 10. It can be 1, but it cannot be 10. It has to be less than 10. Okay? And then you make it times 10 to the n power, which it says is any integer. If n is positive, it's a big number. If n is negative, it's less than 1. You've got to know that. So remember, if it's positive exponent, it's greater than 10. If it's a negative exponent, the number is less than 1, meaning it's a decimal. So I want to look at this number 3,080,000 right here. 3,080,000. That's a really big number, isn't it? And if a scientist has to use this, they're not going to write it out like that every single time. So what you do, first thing you need to do, move the decimal so it makes a number between 1 and 10. Can't be 10, right? Well, the decimal point is right here at the end. So I'm going to move it all the way over here. I'm going to move it between the 3 and the 0. And anything that does not hold a place value of zeros can be dropped off. This 0 has to hold a place value because there's an 8 after it. All the zeros after that are gone. It's a big number, so I know my exponent has to be positive. So I write times 10 to the, how many places did I move that decimal? There's 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That's 3.08 times 10 to the 6th power. That's how you write that one in scientific notation. We're going to write 0.00000072. We're going to write that in scientific notation. Now notice that's a really small number, isn't it? Yeah, 6 zeros, 0.6072. That's a really, really small number. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the decimal so that it makes a number between 1 and 10. Where would I move that decimal to make a number between 1 and 10? Where would I move it, Kobe? So we're going to write 7.2 times 10 to the, this is a small number. It's less than 1. So I can't write 7. That would mean it was a really big number. How many times do you move it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do not want to write 7. Christian? Negative 7. Because that's a small number. It's less than 1. Write this one in scientific notation. This is how much I make a year teaching. Aren't I hilarious? So it's after all the zeros, it's right here. I am going to move that decimal so that it makes a number between 1 and 10. Where do I move it to? Where do I move it? In between the 1 and the 3. So I write 1.3. I got to keep that 6. All the rest of the zeros are gone. Times 10 to the exponent has to be positive because that's a really big number. And what's the exponent going to be, Hudson?
8.
No? Jared?
10.
10. It has to be 10. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's my answer. We are going to write that in standard form. Is this going to be a number bigger than 10 or smaller than 1? Because we have the negative exponent. So we write the number 4 down. Where's the decimal? It's at the end. So we move it back 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a decimal point here and fill these open areas in with zeros. So the answer is going to be 0.0004. Can you check that to make sure it's right? Yeah. We're going to write that in standard form. Is this a number bigger than 10 or less than 1? Christian?
Bigger.
Bigger. So which way are we moving the decimal, Christian?
Right.
To the right. So I'm going to write the number down again and move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sam?
805,700.
How many of you got 805,700? And make sure you put your commas in there, right? All right, we are going to order these numbers from least to greatest. Notice that they are all in different forms, aren't they? 2 of them are in scientific notation, 1 of them is not. So let's look at 23,000. Tell me what 23,000 is in scientific notation. First, change this one. How many of you got 2.3 times 10 to the 4th power? Right?
Wasn't it -4?
Why would it be -4? It's a number bigger than 10. So look at the exponents. The smallest one up there is what, Jared?
The 3.4 times 10 to the 3rd.
Yep, that's the least number. Mark that one out. Then these two are the same, right? Look at the numbers, 2.2 and 2.3. The smaller of the two would be 2.2. So I write 2.2 times 10 to the 4th. Therefore, the largest number in that list is 23,000. We're going to change this into scientific notation. This number in scientific notation, what did you get, Tessa?
4.7 times 10 to the -5th.
4.7 times 10 to the -5th. How many of you agree? Okay. Which one is the smallest of exponents? You have a choice, -4 or -5. Which one's smaller, Seth? -5. So now you got to look at these two, this one and this one. Look at their numbers. Which one is smaller? Sam?
-4.
Okay, you're about 6 steps behind us. Which one's the smallest? 4.7 or 4.8?
4.7.
Yep, so this is the smallest number. We're going to write 0.000047. That's the smallest. Then the next smallest is 4.8 times 10 to the -5th, and therefore the largest number on here is 4.5 times 10 to the -4th. We have this is a number times this number. But what we're going to do is we're going to multiply these two numbers together. We're going to take 1.736 and we're going to multiply it by 1.5. And then notice how these are the same bases, aren't they? What's the rule say to do if they're the same bases and you're multiplying them? Add the exponents. So we're going to write -5 plus 4. I will let you use your calculator on this part. So take 1.736 times 1.5. So this part is 2.604 times 10 to the what power? The -1st power, right? Check your answer and make sure that is in scientific notation. Does it satisfy scientific notation? Right here, yep, that's between 1 and 10, isn't it? Yep. Next one says 1.5 times 10 to the negative second times 8 times 10 to the negative fourth. We're going to take 1.5 times 8 times, notice these are the same bases, right? You're going to show me your work. You're going to add the exponents. What is 1.5 times 8?
12.
Here we get 12 times 10 to the what power? Negative 6 power. Are we good?
No.
No, we're not. What? Raise your hand and tell me what's wrong with this. Jackson? 12 is not between 1 and 10. Do not do this part in your head or you're going to get it wrong. We've got to move this one place over. So this is 1.2 times 10 to the, I only moved it once and it's greater than 10. So it's to the first power, right? Right?
Yes.
Times, drop this other one down, times 10 to the negative 6th power. What are we going to do to the exponents? So we have 1.2 times 10 to the first plus negative 6. And we get 1.2 times 10 to the negative what? 5th power.